Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Today I wanted to do a comparison video between the Aspinal of London Mayfair bag in the mini size and in the midi size. Some time ago I already did a review of the midi, and then a bit more recently I revealed the mini on my channel. And I usually don't really do reveal videos, but I did want to discuss the bags that I recently added to my collection, even though I felt like they don't really warrant a full review of their own. What I wanted to do, however, for this mini bag is to do a comparison with the midi, and that was also the most requested video in the comments, so I figured I'd prioritize that over the other videos I was going to make. Let's get to it. In this video I will go through the usual items that I will discuss in review and comparison videos. So I will give you a general description of both bags, tour of the bag, discuss the dimensions and the weight, the strap and the top handle, walk you through what fits, general pros, general cons, what is better about the one than the other, and I'll round off with my personal preference and recommendation. So the Mayfair bag is probably the most popular bag from Aspinal of London, perhaps together with their Lottie bag. Aspinal has been gaining quite a lot of attention and popularity, and in my opinion with good reason. The quality of goods that I've purchased with them, and that's both bags and SLGs, has been really worthwhile thus far, especially if you get these items on sale. The Mayfair bags mostly come in mock rock, even though there are different variants available. There's fabric with embroidery, and for summer they also came out with a raffia variation of the bag. These are both deep shine patent leathers. They also have their normal patent leathers, which are a bit more shiny, although I have never actually seen them in real life. The Mayfair is available in a wide array of colors, with also a lot of seasonal variations. Both of these I think are seasonal colors, and as you can see you can find them with both gold and silver hardware. So let's tour the bags and start off with the mini. My mini is in the color Blue Heritage, and it has the silver hardware. On the front there is this clasp mechanism which holds the flap down. It's very easy to open. You just press the button on the bottom and slide it up. Then here on the front it has the hot stamping that says Aspinal of London, England. Moving on to the side, the silhouette over here might appear a bit odd, but as we will move on to the interior you will be able to see that it is actually constructed so that the bag can open up a little bit. At the top, the mini comes with a back pocket, although this is quite narrow, but identical on the other side. It comes with feet, and then of course it has this beautiful top handle details, and there's these rings next to the top handle so you can attach the chain strap. So this is my midi. This is in the color Deep Fern, and as you can see this one has the gold hardware. Very similar. Also the push button. The hot stamp, it also actually says Aspinal of London here on the clasp side. The back, again the back pocket. This back pocket actually has a magnet. Again it says Aspinal of London, England here on the back, which is also actually the case for the mini. And the other side, this one also comes with feet, and the top handle is very similar, and of course it has the little rings to attach the strap. By the way, both of these bags do not come with a box, but they do come with a beautiful blue dust bag from Aspinal of London with a red drawstring. Then moving on to the dimensions, the height of the mini is 14.5 centimeters or 5.7 inches. The width is 16 centimeters or 6.25 inches, and the depth of this bag at the base is 7.5 centimeters or 3 inches. The midi is of course larger. This has a height of 15 centimeters or 6.2 inches, a width of 20 centimeters or 8 inches, and a depth of 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches. Let's not forget to discuss the weight. So the mini comes in at 335 grams without the strap, and 446 grams according to my kitchen scale with the strap. This equals to about 0.7 pounds without the strap or a pound with the strap. The Midi is of course somewhat heavier. It weighs 470 grams without the strap and 570 grams with the strap, and this equates to about a pound or 1.25 pounds with the strap. So talking about straps, both of these bags come with a beautiful chain strap. So this is the one for the Midi and this is the one for the Mini. As you can tell by the different colors of hardware and the leather that is woven through. These chains are detachable, but they are not adjustable. It is just one length, and this chain gives you a strap drop of about 55 centimeters or 22 inches. The clasps on these chains do swivel, which is a nice feature, and they have the A of Aspinal of London embossed in the hardware, which is a beautiful detail. Of course, the chain is not the only strap on the bag. They also come with a top handle. So briefly to discuss the top handles on these bags. The handle drop on the Mini is 6 centimeters or 2.5 inches. This is a handheld or perhaps wrist carry type of style, but I cannot really get it further up my arm than perhaps like halfway. I don't know, perhaps if you're very petite you might be able to put it down a little bit further. The top handle on the Midi is a little bit higher, so this is actually 7 centimeters where the other one was 6, and that equates to about 2.75 inches, but still it is a hand carry, wrist carry type of style again. Well, this goes down a little bit further, as you can see, but it is still not a very comfortable crook of the arm bag for me. Then let's discuss the interior of both bags. So both bags have a fabric lining. For the Mini it is just one open compartment. There's no pockets whatsoever on the inside, not even a slip pocket to put a card. The Midi has a different setup on the inside, no slip pockets as you can see, but it does have this middle divider with a zipper which opens up into this center compartment, and it has this very nice zipper pull with a little bit of detail on it. Because the Midi has the middle divider and the Mini doesn't, what you can put in these bags also differs a little bit in that sense. So having said that, let's move on to the what fits part of the video. So because the Mini only has a width of 16 centimeters, what you can fit in this bag might be just a little bit challenging. If I try to put in my phone, for example, yeah, that is not going to fit. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. This folds out to be a pretty big phone, like 16 centimeters, which is the approximate width of this bag as well. So as you can tell, that is not going to be a fit. Fortunately, of course, I can fold this phone and then it will fit easily, but take that into account if you have a bigger phone to put in your bag. Similarly, you're gonna have trouble most likely to fit a bulky case of sunglasses in here. It is a very, very tight squeeze, although if you stuff it down further down the bag, it will actually fit, because it does taper a little bit towards the top. So you could do that. That would leave a little bit of space for some other items. As you can tell now, I'm struggling to get the sunglass case out. If I'm using this bag, I will just take out my sunglasses. These sunglasses, they're just for demonstration purposes, but they're still quite wide. But that will make for an easier and more convenient fit into the bag. In terms of wallet for this bag, I would either recommend a card holder or a compact wallet. Both of those should be able to fit easily. If I'm using this bag, what it comes down to is packing a card holder, my phone, sunglasses, which is all perfectly fine. And then if I like, for example, I can still pack a foldable canvas tote for grocery shopping, my keys, perhaps some mints or a lippy, and then this bag is going to be pretty much full. Then moving on to the Midi, which of course has a bit more width to it. You might think then that it's going to be easy to fit a full-size phone, but because the leather comes in on these ends quite a bit on this bag, actually it comes in on both of these bags quite a bit, but because the Mini doesn't have the middle divider, it does leave you with quite some space over here for wider items. What is a bit of a struggle with the Midi is that it tapers in on this end, and then on the widest section you actually have the middle divider. So yes, you can still fit your phone, but it cannot be in the front of the bag because that will not fit. It really needs to be straight next to the middle divider. It's also not going to go inside of the middle divider because that is again too narrow. So yes, this will fit a bigger phone, but it has to be in a very specific part of the bag. Also, the back pocket of this bag is not going to fit a bigger phone. It is pretty tight. I'm not really sure if I would really even want to stick a phone in there at all. Again, because we are dealing with this narrowness within the bag at a lot of different places. The sunglass case is again going to be an issue. This will not actually fit without stretching the bag up quite a bit. Again, when I take the sunglasses out of their case, I can easily drop them into the bag because they're narrow enough. I can fit my phone on the other end. Like the Mini, this will fit either a compact wallet or a card holder. Both are going to be fine. The card holder you might also be able to slip into this middle divider. But as you might be able to tell, even though this bag is quite a bit bigger than the Mini, it doesn't actually pack all that much more because the middle divider makes it quite restrictive what you can put in there. The middle divider also causes you to have two compartments which are fairly slim. So it's a bit more of playing Tetris in the Midi than in the Mini. Altogether, if you want to fit a big phone, you will need to go for the Midi because the Mini simply doesn't fit it. But if you don't want to pack your phone, or you have a small phone or a flip phone, then the Mini doesn't actually allow you to pack that much less than the Midi would. So then let's discuss the pros and the cons, and I want to start with the more general pros and general cons of both of these bags, because even though they are different, they also of course have a lot of similarities. So some of the pros that I find with these bags is that they are beautifully crafted, so you really do get pretty good value for money, especially if you can get these bags on sale. They really do give you this luxury sensation, and I think this particular style, it lends itself very well to be a very posh evening bag in some colors, but I also like to wear them very casually, just because these are a bit more light and colorful and in that sense playful to me. Of course, because most of these bags come in mock rock, it is kind of a prerequisite that you actually like mock rock. I didn't like it for a very long time, but I'm starting to really get into it now, and I think if you are exploring this and you don't want to go full patent and shiny, then the deep shine colors are definitely a good option to start out with. This mock rock, in my experience, has been a durable and hard-wearing option. If you spill something on these bags, for example, it's going to be very easy to clean. The bags are also easy to open just by the press of a button, yet I do feel like the closure is very secure. Nobody's easily going to get in your bag. And what I also like about the design is that it does allow to fold out a bit, of course with the only downside being that this leather tapers in and gives you less space on the inside. So technically that is a pro and a con, but I do appreciate that they thought about this design element just to make it a bit more functional. Then the general cons of these bags. First of all, the chain strap. Although the chain strap is beautiful, it is not always the most practical option, especially because it is not adjustable. I've also been finding it difficult to find a replacement strap for these chain straps that would be a nice match with the bag, so ideally I would have liked if they would have also come with just a leather strap that matches the bag. For the Midi, I actually find that the bag itself is a bit too heavy for a chain strap. Over time it just becomes uncomfortable wearing the bag and the chain and the contents of your bag. Also, the top handle is not very comfortable to wear because it is extremely stiff. I've said before that my hand doesn't have this curvature to it, so the strap also always kind of lays on top of your hand. You cannot wear the bag on the crook of the arm either because the top handle is not tall enough for that. Altogether it makes it that these are really shoulder slash crossbody bags for me, and just by the design I would have expected a bit more versatility. I think these bags do not have a great dimensions to volume ratio, so to say that they are pretty big for the amount of stuff that they fit, especially with the Midi, because it does have the middle divider and because also these bags taper in on the inside. Not only does it reduce the volume of the bag, but also the individual types of items that you can fit in there. And finally, these bags are very structured. It is not per se a con, but I always point it out because I do find that structured bags at least to me, are less comfortable to wear. They're always a bit bouncy off your body. I always go with least structured options for everyday bags because they just wear more comfortably to me. So then to discuss some pros and cons that these bags have versus one another. Let's start with the pros that the Midi has over the Mini. Something I noticed is that for the Midi there's just a lot more colors and options available. Also in the biggest size of the Mayfair there's not a lot of options. The Midi really seems to be the sort of sweet spot where they go crazy with their seasonals. So if you're looking for example for a raffia version of the Mayfair, then the Midi is going to be pretty much your only option. If you're looking for a bit more of a standard color or the types of seasonal colors like we had for these two, then both options are going to be fine. Because the Midi has the internal divider, this bag does give a little bit more of organization to your stuff than the Mini would. It is of course a bit of a question of how much organization you actually want or need in a bag this size, but also because it is bigger and it has the back compartment, you will be also able to make better use of the back pocket on the Midi than you would on the Mini. However, again, it's not going to fit a phone most likely on both. And then probably the most important pro of the Midi compared to the Mini is the width of the bag. So this will actually fit a bigger phone, be it on a very specific place in the bag. If you need to fit a big phone in the Mini, it is just not going to work because the overall width is only 16 centimeters. So what advantages does the Mini have over the Midi? Well, first of all, it is cheaper. I see that full price, the difference is actually 130 euros. So I think that's quite substantial for a bag this size. So this one retails full price right now at 620 euros and this one at 750 euros. But given that the Mini doesn't have the middle divider, what you could put in there in terms of items doesn't actually differ all that much, at least not for me personally. The Mini is certainly big enough to hold phone, if you have a smaller phone, a card holder, your keys. The Mini for me is what I would definitely call a errands bag because it fits everything I really need to leave the house, plus a couple more items that I could use to do grocery shopping, like a foldable canvas bag. For me, one size up in a bag would have to be a bag that also fits a water bottle. And I didn't actually demonstrate it in what fits. You might think that a water bottle is gonna fit, but again, because the bag is so narrow on the inside, it is just not going to work. You would need to have an extremely slim and small water bottle to be able to fit a water bottle in this bag. So yes, this one is bigger, this one will fit a phone, but for me actually they serve very similar purposes, and I wouldn't be taking this one on a day out because it will not fit a water bottle. So also talking about going out for a day, I wouldn't be wearing this out for a day because this is just way too heavy. I've been finding this a lot more comfortable. Even though the difference is only a little bit more than 100 grams, I do feel it if I'm walking around with these bags for an extended period of time. So altogether, the Mini is just cheaper, it is lighter, and for me it serves the same purpose as one size up, and it fits approximately the same stuff as the Midi does. Also, for some reason I do find this a little bit easier to close up, so both bags are very easy to open. I think just perhaps because this bag is not as wide as the other one, I don't need to exert as much pressure to close it shut, if that makes sense. So putting all of that information together, I guess you can already guess a little bit which one of the two is my favorite. So for me personally and for my lifestyle, the Mini is just really great, and the Midi in that sense doesn't really have all that much added value for me. My personal recommendation would therefore also be, if you have a smaller phone or you never put your phone in your bag, I would definitely recommend the Mini because it's a lot cheaper, it is a lot lighter, and you're not giving up on a lot of volume opposed to having the Midi. If you need to absolutely fit your bigger phone into this bag, then the Midi, or perhaps even just the normal Mayfair bag, which is one additional size up, is going to be your better option. Then overall, would I recommend these bags? I'm not sure if these are sort of great bags to start out your collection with. I do think that they are great bags to have in your collection. It is a nice way to get to know Aspinal of London, even though if you want to have something more practical, then perhaps the Lottie would actually be a better option. I don't have a Lottie yet, but they do seem to me like a bit more of everyday bags that are easier to use. I do think they are really beautifully crafted, and if you want to have something in your collection that is a little bit more special, then these Mayfair bags can definitely be interesting to look into. I really do enjoy them. They have a place in my collection, especially also because I find the colors really beautiful and I don't have anything like it pretty much. But just be aware that these are perhaps not the most practical bags to buy, and not even the most practical bags of Aspinal of London to get. But overall, I would definitely recommend looking into the brand. If you like the Aspinal of London Mayfair, definitely check out the Mayfair a little bit more. I think I'm gonna call it quits now because I just keep on blabbing about these bags and I don't have a lot more to add. So I hope you found this useful and that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me about either of these bags, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. Let me know which one of the two is your favorite, be it in terms of size or in terms of color. And remember, for now, there's a styling situation and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we'd say in Dutch, doei!